All right, welcome to the latest edition of the FPL America podcast. This is David Smith.
Travis Hoig.
Brian Shesko.
Kind of liked how Brian was saying it through me, Travis, as I was watching him through the video monitor here, also known as my iPhone. Hey, gentlemen, welcome. Look, we're in the festive fixtures where things are going fast and furious. Don't mind the cracking there, Brian.
What cracking?
Cracking open.
Brian's always cracking.
A drink that Travis provided. He provided a couple really cool drinks, and I am already sipping on mine.
I'll have another Coke, please.
Exactly. There are special Belgian Cokes. There's is what,
Brought to us by Polar Bears.
Only get to them from there. All right, gentlemen, so much to talk about. Number one, everyone, I'm okay. It's just a hazard of the job. Travis said, what do you do to your head? And I cut it a couple days ago. Saturday, it looks much better.
I was hoping some kind of bar fight or something.
Unfortunately, it's not it's just a regular story. It happened at work. So I would love to say that I made one of my co-hosts mad, and they threw something across the room at me and hit me inside the head.
There's still time.
Or maybe my wife, or maybe a kid. And none of that is true, unfortunately. And then it's not even one of the new kittens. It is just me not being careful on the job and cutting my head, which was fantastic. All that being said, gentlemen, festive
We're glad
fixtures.
you're okay.
Look, my voice is better. I feel better. I'm not sick.
You can't see head injuries. Like his brain could
You're
be
right.
all mashed up in there.
There could be some other things going on in there.
We'll find out.
Knows.
Brennan Johnson.
Brennan, yeah. Well, we'll get to that, Brian. There's a whole lot of things going on in FPL. We like to talk FPL.
He got a cut on his head.
We like to talk a lot of things.
Did he?
Yeah. A lot of things a lot of kind of interesting things have happened this match week.
Yeah.
The rumors of things happening. FPL is going to have to make a decision on the ongoing match week, which Brian's going to enlighten us on in just a minute. All that being said, this is an FPL podcast, and we need to start doing what we do. All right, gentlemen, get Brian.
Well, let's talk about game week. Let's talk about the fact that game week 17 is still open, but let's talk about game week. I don't know.
That game week 17.
No, because there's so much that's gonna happen. It's so loaded. I saw somebody say it this way that you might have a leg up on not just the global FPL community, but even in your own leagues, by just paying attention to deadlines. There's a Thursday deadline this week, so that's
right.
what. And then there's going to be one.
Leaving with the heavy stuff. That's important.
That's the simple truth of it.
Pay attention to the Thursday deadline.
This
is Tuesday. We had to back it off because my wife's birthday. There's some other Christmassy things going on. So we normally record on Monday. We're doing Tuesday this week.
And I have a saying: as soon as we can kick it off at some point. But let's talk about game week 17 or whatever. Let's get started.
All right. Let's start. You want to start with your saying, or
yeah.
you want? Okay. What is your saying?
Here's what I decided it last week because we talk about it. We've talked about it almost every single week, but I put it into like a shorter saying version of what I think I'm getting at.
I know
really
where this is going
about this.
now.
Information this season, this FPL season, information is more valuable than money.
Interesting. Okay.
And I'm saying that as someone who made panic transfers last week on Saturday, that given information, the three transfers I made were primarily money-driven decisions.
Okay.
But in the end, the information that came out was more valuable than the money that was saved or lost in those transactions. The only way I comfort myself in the transactions I made was that is to tell myself that it was all for the sake of getting Ollie Watkins. So in the end, I got the person I was trying to get.
Okay.
But I would have not done it the way I did it if I had waited one day to make the decision.
And you had the day clearly.
Yeah,
right?
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily had the day to do it. So I just want to say it like that. And I would just as a quick rundown, even in the last couple days of exhibits 100 through 150 of why this is true.
Right.
Today, Anthony Gordon in the Carabao Cup match against Chelsea, takes a heavy knock that he gets substituted early in the match today. Who's been more popular of a midfield transfer
than Anthony
in the
Gordon.
last few weeks than Anthony Gordon?
Yep.
I'm saying, like, if you move to him already ahead of Thursday, like, you're already kind of in a bind anyway because you get the early kickoff. It's not obviously not Newcastle early, but you're sweating now because you tried to get him. I have him. I'm sweating because I'm already thin on my bench.
And it's away, so they're never great away.
Another example that happened from the time we recorded last week until the press conferences last Thursday or Friday. It was either Thursday or Friday. Mikolenko from Everton goes from great pick, absolutely should be high on your list, definitely a consideration for the price, to we're unsure how serious his groin injury is. We'll have to see.
Yeah,
he could
I
miss
almost
some
brought
time.
him in.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, even that, like he wasn't in the team today. I don't know that necessarily, or that's no big deal. The midweek games, if a guy plays or whatever, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But I think you'd rather that he doesn't, unless it's a game that matters. But today, like, Abdoulaye Doucouré is another one. He was subbed. It was a injury sub in the game, this past weekend.
Right, he went off at halftime,
which sounds less serious than Mikolenko's, because at least Sean Dyche is saying it was precautionary. We can't take any chances this time of year, kind of thing. But he's needed. Like, they lost today, so Everton, like, I'm sure they would like to stay in the competitions that they are still in. I have a feeling they didn't want to lose in penalty kicks to Fulham today.
Right.
So I'm just saying, like, these things end up mattering, and like two of the, like, darlings of the last 2 weeks are now, one is not a consideration. Two is you probably won't know. Seems like he'll be okay. Like, I'm talking about Anthony Gordon. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, all of that to say, like, you go through the list of, like, Jamal Lascelles and all of the Newcastle injuries. Lascelles went from, hey, maybe avoid because Sven Botman's coming back, to now Lascelles probably keeps his place depending on how serious Fabian Schär. Yeah, depending on how serious his injury is. So, like, there's just so many of
moving
these
parts.
things that happen
Information,
all of a sudden.
more
Information
important
is more valuable than money.
This game is hard. Don't make it harder on yourself by making early moves for the sake of making moves.
I'm not the only one saying it. There are plenty of other places that do it. The question is,
I've only heard you say it though.
Do you have the guts not
to
do it?
Else.
Guess what I did this week?
You made an early transfer.
Made my transfer.
You are crazy.
All right, so I get it a little bit. So I brought in Doucouré,
cute,
my free transfer last week for Douglas Luiz, who was red carded this week, thinking that was a good move. Well, of course, Doucouré goes off at half. He gets me 1 point, but it didn't cost me anything. It's not like I took a hit.
Yeah.
But now, going into the next match week, which is coming increasingly closer to us with rapid speed, I need to now, make a decision. Anthony Gordon, absolutely. In fact, my decision was between Doucouré and Gordon, and I went with Doucouré.
Yep. Interesting. You were one of the very few that would have made that choice.
Well, so, again, information being what at the time when I made that decision, Gordon was, I would say, more chance than not to play in the match on the weekend. That's when I made my decision.
Which makes it even more interesting that you chose Doucouré.
Well, no, that Gordon wasn't going to play.
Going to
correct.
play.
He was triangled, and I think there was real concern. Like, there was a real, like, it was a up to the minute, like, pay attention, see if you can find out any information.
It was going to be a game time thing, and I just didn't want to deal with that. And look, Everton was playing Burnley this past weekend, so that seemed like big deal. Doucouré's done great. Had 10 points last week, so let's roll with Doucouré against Burnley. So anyways, it seemed like it was a fairly little bit of a no-brainer. All that being said, before we hop into the games, this match week has not completed. I currently on my team, I started Haaland on the whim that maybe he might start in fantasy or start in the match.
You never know.
I put him in my lineup in fantasy with Alvarez as his in my first bench spot. So Alvarez was going to come in for Holland. That being said, currently, as the match week is over, Holland is still in my team. Alvarez has not subbed in yet. The match week has not finalized yet, Brian. No. You said there's one of three scenarios.
Well, more.
Can you take us through that?
Just to say, like, even off the top, like the pinned tweet on Twitter. What's X?
It's Twitter.
Game week 17.
How dare you?
Game week 17 will remain open after the conclusion of Sunday's matches. More information will follow in due course. That was on December 17th.
Okay, so Sunday.
So Fantasy Premier League has not made a decision yet. Yeah, credit to Lego Mane who tweeted this days ago. Basically, the only sensible outcomes here are teams in the league, the teams, Bournemouth and Luton and the league agree that the match stays a 1-1 result.
A draw.
FPL points stand as they are. 2, the match resumes at 60 minutes or whatever the match is at some point. The FPL points stand as they are right now and pick up from that point. Or the match is, as it's abandoned, is just fully rescheduled, played in
Bless you.
Played in its entirety at a later date. FPL points are voided and auto subs come in for the voided spaces. So if you have
wild,
which would to me seems like I don't know.
I have a vested interest because I got 6 from Solanke.
Right.
And I feel like those are points I'm getting that not many people in our mini league are getting.
I was gonna say if Solanke owners especially here are the ones who do not want to see the match fully rescheduled.
Yeah. No.
So
I think the only sensible thing is for the Premier League and for them to agree that it's a 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
No blood, and that all fantasy scores stand.
And that anyone who gets a bonus, you get a bonus for intelligent decision making too. Let's throw in a point or two for being wise in your choices.
For sure. All right.
A lot of Senesi Bournemouth owners, I would say, exist now that didn't exist a few weeks ago, and I'm one of them.
All right.
I would rather not get a 0, and sure, I'd like to have another crack at him getting a clean sheet against Bournemouth at a later date.
This is going to sound crazy because you won't hear me say this much. We're going to talk about this game very briefly, mainly because I want to bring up someone who we have not talked about, a striker for Luton. Last name Adebayo.
Yeah.
And Brian, you might have mentioned him before. But
I don't think so.
Adebayo has scored in 3 straight match weeks. And I just wonder, yes, but those 3 match weeks are Arsenal, City, Bournemouth. Okay, it's not like they're complete pushovers. Yeah, you could look at Bournemouth. What? So all that being said, they're home Newcastle, at Sheffield, home Chelsea, at Burnley. I'm not saying Luton's schedule is great. I'm just saying that they have a striker who has scored in 3 straight match weeks against 2 of the toughest defensive opponents statistically in the league, and his price is at a 4.8.
Yeah.
So, Archer owners, are you better off with Adebayo or are you better off with Archer, right? Now, granted, some people might, going into this match week like, okay, I don't have just a free transfer to throw out on a third potential playing striker. I have other bigger issues, Gordon, Decore issues, Newcastle defender issues that you need to work on. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
I need surgery.
Right. A lot of people, Travis, are begging for their wild cards right now.
Yeah.
All right. So I just wanted to bring Adebayo up. I want this podcast to be on record of noticing Adebayo has scored in 3 straight match weeks, and he seems to be in good form. Luton, as a club, is in good form. They played City tough. They played Arsenal tough. And they were playing Bournemouth just as tough as well. And so kudos to Luton. They are the Fighting Lutes are giving it all they can loot. So great. All right, moving on.
Just
unless Brian, you have something.
Just that. I think it's the 0.8 on the 4.8 that is the tricky part.
Okay.
Like it's such a
Archer's at a 4.0.
No, he's 4.5. It's just the luxury of that 0.3. Like that's like that's truly
Well, some people have a lot of money right now because they processed Holland.
true. If you've
There's a lot of Holland sellers, his price dropped.
Yeah, if you've moved
crazy.
if you've moved your money around, and the thing that I know a lot of people are bringing up too is that we're only a couple weeks away from Salah and Son money about
being available,
being redistributed
so
throughout a team.
I think that
too,
.3 might become moot.
But yeah, I
sooner rather than later.
I hope.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone's really enthused to bring in the Luton striker.
All right. Yes. Well, look.
No, I understand. I
Hot
get it.
take right over here.
I'm just saying the dude scored in 3 straight match weeks. How many other people have done that? All right.
Not many. Only Jimenez has the same number of goals.
Red
not
card.
three.
Okay.
It's
All right.
something to talk about.
And your favorite, I would just say that Adebayo scored 3 goals from 3 shots on target. So you're the all-time.
That hardly ever happens.
As a longtime podcast host used to say, points are points.
True.
And shots are shots.
Yeah.
That guy sucks.
May he rest in peace.
100%. Yeah.
Where are you, Scott? Come on.
100%.
He's dead.
Yeah. 100% conversion rate.
Don't you ever say that.
It's my favorite.
All right.
It's my favorite.
The weekend started on another early kickoff. Brian, did you miss that last week?
Actually, I did not because it was during normal working hours. So
Okay.
it's a work day. When it's a work day
It's
deadline,
easy-
You're
it's
always
easy.
watching.
I'm already on the
Okay.
on the internet.
You're already
anyway.
flipping the channels.
Right,
Yeah.
that's right.
Game on.
All right, Spurs 2, Nottingham Forest 0. I think this is a good outing for the Spurs. Forest has been playing people tough. The Spurs did enough to get Steve Cooper sacked,
Yeah, that's
which
too bad.
I felt was a little harsh. Seems like Forest was doing okay. I mean, again, let's temper our expectations for us, but
They spent a lot of money, though. I think that's really what it
On
comes
who?
down to. That's exactly the point, right? So they spent
who'd they spend money
a
on?
ton on everybody. Almost every player on their roster was not with them in the championship.
Yeah. What did they buy last year coming in? It was like 20 players.
It
or
was
something like that.
insane.
Last
Yeah, you
year,
remember
I
that.
know, but
still.
I'm talking about
But
this
yeah,
year.
but I guess that's the point, is that the honeymoon period is over, right? The low expectations
so they
coming
gave
into the
Cooper
league.
long enough. Old Sleepy Coop gave him. Yeah, I never know if he's awake or high or what. But
You like the
Cooper's out. I like Cooper honestly,
good
but
dude.
he's out the door.
But you like the Men in Blazers, a man who looks like he's perpetually smelling a fart.
God, they're so good. Roger Bennett, man, unbelievable. All right, Richarlison, Brian, you told me before this game started, when you and I were talking about the match week,
Yeah.
you told me, Dave, if Richarlison does anything, people are going to go nuts.
Yeah.
Richarlison, of course, scores.
Did they go nuts?
Kulu,
I mean, he's
Kulu assists, and then Kulu gets his own goal in the 65th minute, and Spurs win 2-0. Brian, Spurs continue to roll on. As a Sun owner, I was disappointed because Sonny didn't get any part of it.
I think it maybe is the Sun, maybe the overall selection percentage for Sun and just the number of transfers in for Sun. But the fact that Richarlison is not a top 5 transfer in this week is shocking to me.
It's because his face is so
Well, I think-
punchable.
So,
I
look,
can't
obviously
believe it. No one
he's
wants to do
coming
it.
off. He's coming off a 15 and a 9.
Yeah.
Obviously, and his next match, home Everton at Brighton. Excuse me, home Bournemouth. The old Belgian coach
pretty good.
sneaking up on me
Yeah.
there. It is. It's a good. And Brian, is he going to be? Look, I think are people wondering is he going to continue to start? Because he was coming back from
Who else are they going
injury.
to play?
Yeah,
At this
absolutely.
point, who
No,
else are they gonna-
absolutely.
You're right, Travis.
Absolutely.
You're right.
He's absolutely going to keep starting. He's absolutely going to
They're going to
keep
feed
playing
him.
centrally. I've been trying to find it. There's a more extensive quote from Ange about kind of Richarlison. I believe he called him a goal mouth monster is the way he referred to Richarlison. This is kind of what we were talking about last week. Like
Such a goal mouth.
you not that you would have to think of, you have to consider
Let's call
him
those poachers.
given the situation and the offense. The really challenging part of Richarlison doing this is what it does to Son because it kicks Son back over to the left.
I know. So that was going to be, as a Son owner, I'm like, oh, okay, well, what's going on here? As look, Sonny had a good week last week,
and he was. That's what's driving me a little bit crazy. Is he's played outside and scored outside, but he also has struggled outside more so than anything. So I actually looked at really hard looked at taking some hits to get Son back into my team, but in the end I had too many triangles, and so I had to deal with the triangles, and I didn't end up taking any hits, and I got a full team on the field. But I'm kind of glad that I didn't move to Son at this point, because I think him out wide, he's just not as effective. He's useful in a tactical sense, but not from a fantasy perspective.
This week is this is what's really tricky about this week. Like, Richarlison gets a perfect delivery from Kulusevski, which we can talk about him too. But Kulusevski, just a perfect, feeds Richarlison perfectly. Richarlison scores, on his one shot. It's his one shot. His one of his only touches in the box. All the action is coming from Son and Kulusevski. So even in this match, Son and Richarlison both have a big chance to score. Son's XG is actually higher for the match, and he played 88 minutes compared to Richarlison's 72. And that part of that is that's a red card. That's a tactical switch. Son, 4 shots, 2 on target, 3 in the box. All 4 for open play for him. Like, this is not. And then too, if Son's out there, Son's captain, Son's taking the penalties, and there's no one taking the penalties other than Son. So, that's the difference. Like, this week, it's positionally what Richarlison, where he was. So this is in 2 starts. This is back-to-back games. I think the stat was that he had never scored back consecutive weeks for Spurs. I think that's what first time since Richarlison's been there, he scored back-to-back weeks. Yeah, and I think just based on what what his manager's saying about him, where he's again, I'm shocked. He's 6.7. I don't know why. Like, I would compare in the last 2 weeks. So he's 4th for shots. He's 2nd for shots on target and shots in the box. He and Son both have 3 big chances in the last 2 weeks. And he's got the 2nd highest non-penalty XG of any midfielder in the league. Like, I know it's 2 weeks, but still, it all fits with everything else that Ange is saying about he's fit, he's in a better headspace, we want him here. This is where he can thrive. Son, the other interview that has been floating around out there it was a post-match interview with it was like Spurs reporters or whatever. It was a Spurs specific podcast or interview where Son said he called Richarlison a proper striker, and said that's kind of what that's how the manager talks about it, is that Richarlison's a proper striker.
So why is he classified as a midfielder?
But it was funny because all of the guys interviewing him kind of they laughed. And he was like, "What? Kind of like, why are you laughing?" And the one guy said, like, "Sonny, you are a proper striker. Like, I get." And he was like, "No, like, I'm not trying to. It's not like a me versus him,
right."
But
the guy was like, "You're a double-digit goal scorer in this league. You are a proper striker, but that is not." Like, Son is now back to the left.
Because who else are they going to play out wide?
They don't have a winger, options, right?
They don't have a winger that
not
can,
over
that
there
be effective.
Because they tried it the other way before. It didn't work with Richarlison on that side.
Because he's too selfish.
And so Son is way better at facilitating.
And lazy, frankly.
So Son's not a bad pick. You definitely prefer Son centrally.
He's going to get opportunities, and he's going to get the assist potential.
But
at the same time, his value definitely tanks if he's not central.
Right. And Richarlison is like, if this kind of form Richarlison continues, then this, like, him at 6.7 is a massive
For
bargain.
sure.
I just think he's overpriced for where his value is. Beyond penalties, and then they're not getting that many, honestly, they're getting more called on them. Beyond penalties, again, you're looking at assists and the odd goal that he's gonna, throw in that's gonna be probably, world class.
All right.
But
Yeah.
his value is definitely
I like
tanking.
Richarlison does, he's so far, I mean, I know this, like I said, it's 2 starts, but in those 2 games, he's only 12th for touches in the box. This is not like him. They're even with all
But
the
he's getting
possession.
chances.
Where
he's
is
finishing.
he then if he's just not getting the ball?
And
is really what it comes down to.
that's it.
It's not,
I mean-
it's not just lack of touches. It's in the box. It's lack of touches altogether.
Yeah, so he's not. They're not feeding him. I think and I think you saw it in the way he scored this goal this week. It was
Scrappy.
a perfect run from a perfect Kulishevsky pass.
Yeah.
Kulishevsky's pass was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I would just say, you kind of have a 3-man decision here with Kulishevsky. The Kulishevsky numbers for the season, and you have to do them for the season because other than one match, he was subbed at 60 minutes. Otherwise, he has played 85 minutes or more every single game this season.
Okay.
So, Kulishevsky's returns, they're not amazing.
I'm keeping my eye on him.
He's 8th in midfielder scoring, so he's up to 8th.
Is he really?
Yes, he's tied
Okay.
with
Which means you should be picking 7 other people before him.
he's tied with Raheem Sterling, and
Who?
He Chan is only 1 point ahead of
Ferry.
him.
Okay.
So He Chan is 78 points
Okay.
right now. But the weirdest stat for me for Kulishevsky, he is number 1 overall, all players, for touches in the box.
No way.
148 touches in the box.
You
which
would
is-
not have guessed that, Travis, and neither would I.
Not in a million years.
No.
No, he's
Nope.
number 1, and I would say it's number 1 by a bit.
Wow. All right. I want to move this on because this is not a Spurs
interesting.
podcast.
No, I'm just saying, these.
Well, I want to talk about Spurs a little bit more, so Brother Matt will be upset.
You've got.
Brian, keep going,
We
please.
should.
We are going to talk about Pedro
You
Porro.
have to deal with this because this is as
No.
fantasy rich of a team
I
as
know.
there is.
You're right. That's true. Absolutely true.
lot
Richarlison,
there.
Son, Kulishevsky, all worth discussing. Along with, and then I think, look, I continue to own Udoggy, but it's killing me. I would love to own Pedro Porro, but I
that's what
don't
was
have
just-
him at
That
the
was
moment.
just what I was getting ready to ask. So, fantasy rich team. How many Tottenham players do you own?
2.
And you?
I own 2.
Who's your two? It's Udoggy
It's
and
Son and
Son.
Udoggy.
Okay. And yours is Porro and
Son and Porro.
But I would love to be Son and Porro. It just
Yeah.
at the moment, and I lied a second ago. I forgot I'd done this. Brian, I have made early transfer this week. I was concerned to not lose any more money on Holland. Shocked when I saw his ownership had dropped to 66%. So I'm like,
He's gonna go back
oh
up.
crap, maybe.
Yeah.
But bottom line
He's not
is,
gonna buy him when he's healthy again.
I sold him and brought in Watkins at minimum for this match week. I don't need to take any hits this week, but at minimum for this match week. So I have made a move. Anyway, so blah, blah, blah. All right. Brian, if I could, I love Pedro Porro. I think he's probably one of the top 3 best defensive owns at the moment.
And also one of the top 5 most punchable players, along with Richarlison. So I just want to make sure we keep that on our radar.
Sonny balances them out. He brings so much joy.
Yeah.
He balances out those 2 jerk
Don't
faces.
forget, because Lo Celso is he's on one of your other punching
Oh, yeah.
bags too. So that's plenty.
They are
Man,
a very
you
punchable
love to
team.
hate that team, Travis.
I mean,
And
after
then,
what they
Christian,
came up
Christian
with,
Romero, you don't.
I don't want to punch him so much as I want to
Okay.
just see him belt out. Something about his eyes wide open. What's the Scott Stapp? Anyways, keep going.
I was gonna say that Yves Bissouma red card here, so that's not great. A bad decision on his part.
Yeah.
And
That
I was
doesn't bode well for
You got
their
Oliver
defense.
Skip. You'll be fine.
Udoggy, for those who, if you have
Picked up
him,
another yellow.
the 5th yellow, he's on a suspension, so you're going to get Emerson Royal likely here. Brendan Johnson did leave with a head injury.
Concussion.
They're getting
No,
thin.
he's Ange says no concussion. Says it was just a cut. It's a cut
Oh.
to the head, so it was not a concussion
They couldn't throw
substitution.
some
Shot
glue
to the
on
heart.
it.
No, must have been bad enough.
Serious laceration.
Yep. So, But all of these like peripheral players, like Lo Celso was, he's a minor knock. They're not taking any chances. They can't. So he sat out here. You lose Brennan Johnson for
They did without him
most of
for
the match.
3 years. They'll be fine.
Right, yeah, I'm sure. But no, you're going to get some replacements this week in a week where Everton might be, is down Mikolenko almost for sure.
And Doucouré.
Possibly
probably
Doucouré, which is a bad loss that's a really bad loss for Everton.
Yeah.
Assuming he's out.
That could be an interesting match.
Yeah, for sure.
Tottenham-Everton match could be kind of good.
Manchester City to Crystal Palace to the Holland-less Blues. Is it the Blues? The Citizens. The Holland-less Citizens.
Probably
They are blue.
Take on the Eagles, and
Crystal
the
Palace.
Eagles,
Palace strikes again.
The Eagles
What a
would
wild
not
one.
die.
The Eagles swoop again.
Unbelievable. Look,
Just
Crystal
like Roy
Palace
Hodgson,
had
the Eagles
nothing.
will not die.
They had nothing going the entire match. They get one breakaway chance. They almost caught Ederson out. They almost caught Ederson sleeping on a counter, right?
Yeah.
In fact, arguably, I say it maybe a red.
That was a bad
It
foul.
was a yellow, but it
He's
was
lucky that Ruben Diaz was, I think it was Ruben Diaz was a
He was
parallel.
lurking.
You're
Yeah.
lucky he was running back.
Yeah, I still think the tackle was bad. Anyways, but whatever. Bottom line is Palace hangs around, and I love it. Travis loves it. Brian loves it. We all love it because there's no
didn't
Citizens
hate it.
fans in here. And City dropped points.
They
at
are
home.
very, very thin.
Yeah.
Very thin. Like
Wait, I've been saying
like-
this.
And so
I've all been saying this, but this just illustrates just how terrible their reinforcements are. They surely they go on a spending spree in January, right? They have to.
I don't know.
No, they don't.
I don't think
Wanna
they
know
can.
why?
Financial fair
115
play.
Brian's right.
115
Brian, no.
charges.
The air
They-
in the Premier League is thick right
They
now.
can't
With
draw any more attention to it.
FFP, they haven't hardly signed
I don't
anyone
know.
last year. They haven't hardly signed it. Gardeval was their big signing that they took forever to get across.
He's been pretty solid for them.
He's been really good. It felt like he was playing as a striker in this match.
He was
as
really
much as he was in the box.
or a winger at least. Yeah, he was
And anyways,
on the byline a lot.
all that being said, City doesn't have enough.
This is
They could not close the door.
Yeah, but this is exactly the problem with them. Credit again to Manchester City Alex account we've referenced numerous times. It just he said it weeks ago. We talked about the leadership void. Again, like you are cruising up 2-0 and like typical what has been so typical of them, Crystal Palace had 2 shots on target. You want any team that you face ever to have 2 shots on target.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
get that up front and somebody says your opponent will get 2 shots on target, you will take that forever because that's nothing. And what does both of those shots do for Crystal Palace? They both went in. They do this all the time. And I think that's like, it's not necessarily like Holland being there or not being there. That's not enough for it to matter. We kind of wanted to say like, no, well, when they're bad if Rodri's not there. All right, well, Rodri's there. Bernardo Silva starts again, like the guy has been the guy on the guy that's been kind of the go-to de facto leader a little bit. He's out there, so like you can't corral it. Kyle Walker was the actual captain, I think, and like. Do you want him to be your captain? Not really. So that's what I'm saying. Like there's like it's the characters are all there that you've seen do this a million times. And Grealish is out there. You have the hardest working man in football, playing to this time.
He's just there for the party, man.
Yeah, well, he had a party.
He had a Grealish party.
He did. And he's part of what they're doing here. I think is really it was fine until 72 minutes or whatever it was, and then things just fell apart. And yeah, you're right. After that, it really was like Palace was just relentless. Guess what else you got here from Palace? You got Eze subbing back in again. So you're back on Eze and Elise, Crystal Palace. And you get an Elise penalty. I think that was surprised just about everybody, but I think it's mostly because Eze's just fresh off an injury. I don't know that that's permanent. I don't think that's a permanent switch.
Well,
but
I think
either way,
Eze subbed off late in that match. Not from injury, I think just from, I could be wrong.
No, he came on really late.
Came on late.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think Elise, and he took that penalty with complete class.
Oh, it was awesome. So I'm just saying, like, this is like, you like that you got 2 goals out of Manchester City. You don't like, anyone who held Alvarez. Like now, Alvarez is a sell for I think people are shipping Alvarez out.
Probably. Well,
Low confidence.
this past week, Alvarez has been there for me, but it's just because I've had bigger fires to put out, and one reason why I haven't gotten there yet, right?
Yeah.
So Alvarez is still in the lineup, and I'm not going to take a hit to move him out. He continues to be fine. There's better options out there.
Yeah.
We're assuming Haaland's going to come back after this World Cup. What is it? The World Tour World Cup? The
Club World Cup.
The Club World Cup. Thank you. That City are playing this weekend, and I guess all eyes will be on that to see if Haaland starts. We were trying to figure out if just keeping him out of the Palace game was precautionary. But let me tell you something. Any drop points right now with the way Villa's playing, with the way Liverpool and Arsenal both continue to play for the most part. Are they playing perfect? No. But they're playing as good or better than City right now.
Yeah.
And
that's fair.
so City cannot afford to drop points, as they are currently 4th in the table, with Aston Villa and Liverpool being 4 points ahead of them and Arsenal 5 points ahead. So Aston Villa, unbelievable. All right, anything else? Look, I'm not making any move. City doesn't play next match week, Brian, so I obviously doesn't.
Right.
Like, anyone moving to them this week is weird and interesting. So, I just feel like we need to discuss this. They drop points. Anytime City drop points, it's a good thing.
And they're on a bad run. I mean, just their form is bad in general. Yeah, and when they come back, who did you say? Did you say who they come
when
back
they come
to?
back, they're at
Everton.
Everton, home Sheffield, at Newcastle, home Burnley.
Mostly good.
Yeah.
Matches that 4 weeks ago you would have said, can't wait to get to that run, and now all of a sudden you're like, is this, how vulnerable are they? Yeah, you're not doing anything with him. I definitely, like, if you're moving on just because of the blank week, that makes sense. I'm wondering now, because Haaland. So the big news was that De Bruyne was
Is De Bruyne training?
Yes.
Oh.
So De Bruyne is close to returning, and I think that's the first nail in the coffin for Julian Alvarez.
I agree with that.
So
I think that is exactly what it's going to take to get Alvarez.
Yeah, Alvarez did start earlier in the season when De Bruyne first was playing.
Yeah, they did figure out a way to do it. Just wonder now too, like, this was Grealish starting. That's going to be
struggling.
Right. They need the spark. I wonder how much. Because Doku needs to get back out there again.
I think they're going to go power out wide.
2 games in a row he scored.
Yeah,
Grealish
Yeah.
and Foden. I hate it. Look.
Hey,
fall down, Phil.
Add another assist to the Foden chart. Did you get it?
I didn't, but
Okay.
I'll be sure to make sure that tracks.
Yeah.
All right.
You're not doing well on that one.
So you win some, you lose some.
As I'm well aware.
No, but
I've
Haaland.
lost most of mine.
The news was that Haaland traveled with the team for the Club World Cup, but was not in the team. So he did not make the bench. So
they haven't played a match. Did they play a match today?
Yeah, I think they won. I think they won 3-0.
They played a Japan team, I think. Okay.
But
Haaland didn't play. Okay, I didn't know that.
So there's no Haaland in the team. So again, like, this is another one. Like, you have the match. There's no match this week, so you have another week to think about this. You're not going to get anything about it until Monday, like Christmas Day. Like, follow the news. Like, you're going to see, like, for us, it'll be like, checking in on fantasy football scores, opening presents, trying to figure out dinner, and then seeing Manchester City training pictures.
Oh my gosh.
That's your day. That's your day on Monday.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, let's move on. Liverpool 0, Manchester United
wait
0.
a second. Have you sold Haaland?
Yes.
He
Remember,
did.
I just said
you
that a
did.
minute ago.
Okay, no, I just want to like just make
But
sure
with the caveat is I am literally bringing him right back in after this match.
Okay, and you have not sold.
I have not sold him, and honestly, I don't think I will. I think that he's going to pop up out of nowhere and just start playing.
Oh, I agree. That's why I'm going to bring him right back in.
So what I'm saying is I'm going to start him every week because I'm expecting him to get minutes.
You're starting
at
him
some
this
point.
week when they don't have a game.
Sure.
Well, no, but
Yeah, do it.
That's exactly why I set him up the rails for this match week, and I'm bringing him back.
not
That's
this
what
week.
auto subs
I'm
are
bringing
for.
him back.
Put him in.
Well, that worked out really well for this week, didn't it? Auto sub.
Yeah, the auto subs are still on pause.
So far,
Unfortunately, horrible. I make light of a situation, but
We'll get them.
The
Don't
situation
worry.
wasn't good. Locklear,
He's fine.
He's fine now.
We're good. We can joke about it now.
Okay. All right. Liverpool 0, Manchester United 0. Travis,
Hey,
your team.
It was a terrible
Mateta
match.
is one of your top scoring players.
Hey,
this
we were
week, by the
moving on,
way.
Brian.
Just for
Why
Crystal
you-
Palace.
I know. I just need Mateta to do it more than once every 6 weeks.
He doesn't even start most matches.
It's Edward. It's Mateta. It's one or the
It's
other.
Mateta, Edward,
Right.
Edward, Mateta, Mateta.
Yeah.
I mean, it's too much. Potato there for me.
No. We indulged you on Eze.
I thought you were going Hakuna Matata.
No. Potato.
Okay, I'm glad you did
Too
it.
much,
Hakuna
too much,
Matata.
too much Hakuna Matata.
Mine was
too
more.
much potato.
Mine was way more obvious. I like the direction you went.
Okay, all right. Moving on, Travis, take it away. Your boys.
It was
0.
It was painful. It was a
United,
painful. All right, stop saying the
0.
score. We heard you the first time.
Liverpool drop points. Home Anfield doesn't happen much to a embarrassing United team. One of the worst Manchester United teams I've ever actually seen on the pitch.
It was really bad.
And what the heck? Why can't Liverpool? I captain Salah knowing that he was going to smash them this week, and it doesn't happen. Like
Luke Shaw did a good job
me.
against him. Luke Shaw did a great job against him. Virgil van Dijk took a lot of criticism for the statement that I'm about to make, but I believe it to be true. Roy Keane says it's arrogance. I disagree. The point being that United set up not to lose.
Yeah.
They didn't set up to win. They set up not to lose. And Roy Keane and Ten Hag both made it very clear that United had their chances, and they did.
Yeah, Hoyland should have put Manchester United up 1-0.
There were a couple of instances where they should have been up. However, that said, Liverpool should have blown them out of the water, but United was organized and they were relentless in their defensive posture, and they held them off. And they deserve credit for that, as much as I hate to say that. But that is not a United team. That's not a United team. That's not a United team. They played like Burnley played against us, like Luton played against us, like so many teams have played. It looked like a Jose Mourinho United more so than anything else, and it was kind of disappointing. Now, that said, they got points, so all credit to them. Like, as much as it was a pain to watch as a Liverpool supporter and even as a neutral,
they would have loved to leave there with 1 point at Anfield.
100%.
So my point being is Liverpool has to know. They have to know.
What was the score the last time they left Anfield?
7-0.
7-0. So they know what it takes now to not get smashed. But if Liverpool gets 1 goal, all hell breaks loose for them because they have to open up.
Okay. My point being is Liverpool, it feels like, correct me if I'm wrong, have a hard time cracking teams when they do this.
Less so this season, but historically, yeah.
Darwin was supposed to be the
low block.
They were supposed to be the nutcracker. Okay, he was supposed when the nut's hard to crack. Darwin was supposed to be the nutcracker,
the nut specialist. Darwin was the
cracker as we were in the festive season, and he hasn't been able to crack nuts.
He hasn't been able to do much.
Honestly, I'm not saying this, I swear,
no,
to throw shade. I would love to own him. He is I truly believe he's a fantastic player. I don't know why
raw still.
it's not
terrible.
transferring on the pitch. But bottom line is, Liverpool has played against teams who have done this. And were they ill prepared coming into this match?
No, I don't think so.
It was 34 shots to 6.
I mean, they had 17 corners. I mean, it was a siege.
Every single player, except Smikas and Allison,
all had shots.
Every single player took a shot.
I know.
It wasn't like they weren't.
Something's lacking.
The cutting edge.
You can have a shot fest.
The cutting edge was just missing.
And look, I'm saying this because my team has done this, and so I recognize at times, and sometimes you're unlucky. Arsenal was unlucky a couple of weeks ago. Honestly, Liverpool was they probably banged a few of those 34 off the post, right? And so you're that close.
Actually, I don't know that it hit the woodwork at all in that match.
Regardless, anyways, 34, 8 on target, 34 shots. It truly was a siege. So, look, this such as football.
It was a brave performance by United, who came to defend their goal mouth.
Johnny Evans, Varane,
Team XG for
Dallo.
Liverpool of 2.
Yeah,
2.22.
Pretty high.
Wow.
Yeah,
that is rare. You don't see that much.
No.
Well, I mean, and I guess that's the point, right? So it's not like they weren't creating chances. They were lacking that cutting edge, which is, again, to your earlier point, something that they historically have had difficulty with, that they have found a way in the dying moments of games within the past, several months to find a goal, right? Yeah. They did not find a goal this time.
Okay. Did we learn anything? Is there any United players that we need to bring in? I doubt it. I think Liverpool players, Trent Alexander-Arnold is still
the defenders, or the Manchester United defenders are the ones who had any interest anyway. And
Diego Dallo looked pretty good. Shaw looked pretty good.
The Dallo red card decision is,
that was comical.
It's silly.
For me, because it was just like, are you serious right now? To the point where no one could explain it until Michael Oliver could stop for a moment and say it into his ear, into his microphone, for the VAR officials to be able to pass it on, because they couldn't even figure it out.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
And Dallo is one of the few guys where, he had a moment there for sure. If you had gone to him, they had a run there of a few matches where they looked really good, and then it kind of faded again. But no, Onana. To me, it's the most inexplicable high score of any player in the league this year. I do not. His score, the fact that he's tied for second for goalkeeper points, to me is wrong. Is it incorrect? The addition is wrong, because I don't believe that he's that high.
Which is what we talked about last week. From a stats perspective, he's fine. More than fine.
He's had 6 clean sheets.
More than fine. But
he didn't.
But he looks like
that's incorrect.
But he looks like there's no way that's possible.
That's what I mean. I disagree with the result.
He has 6 clean sheets, Brian. He has 5 total bonus points to this point in the season.
I don't believe any of it. I think it's wrong. And I can't imagine having him under any circumstances. And yet, there he sits. Second highest scoring goalkeeper in FPL.
Over or under 50 Onana saves on the season?
I say under. I say he's made 0 saves this year. I take the 100% under.
Travis, over or under 50 saves?
It's got to be over. Their defense has not been great.
Over under 60.
It's got to be close to 60.
65.
Yeah. It's just their defense is so poor, it makes him look like he's terrible, because he's got to do so much. And when he's got to do so much, who's he going to pass the ball out to?
Anyone.
Maguire?
Yes.
What's he going to do with it? Trip over it? I mean, come on.
Ryan Onana's got you 21 save points, fantasy save points, 21 on the season so far.
Okay.
All right.
So you say.
No way am I or anyone on this podcast recommending going to Onana. Although if you did,
He's third.
His upcoming
in saves.
schedule is at West Ham, home Villa, at Forest, home Spurs, at Wolves. They're going to lose all of those, and then they play West Ham.
I hope they get scored on every single game.
They will. All right.
No, they won't. They just got a clean sheet in the most inexplicable possible way. That's the stupidest result of the season.
Fair. Look, again, as a Salah owner, I thought that was stupid.
I'm not even saying it as everyone. You captain Salah because it's smart.
Right.
Because it's the most
It
obvious.
was a wise one.
Because it's the most obvious captain that you can have this week. It didn't work. That happens sometimes. Obvious captains,
Right.
high
That's
XG
right.
captains, guys that shoot the most in a week don't put one in the net.
Right.
Fine.
Right,
That's
right.
fine. It's just that it's not. It's stupid. That's it. You didn't learn anything. If you can get
Right.
Trent, you should get Trent. Trent was awesome again. So another week of
Another clean sheet.
Another clean sheet for Trent, and another week where did he get? He got all 3 bonus points. Of course, he got all 3 bonus points. Yeah. So
All right. Moving on
this is the closest I've ever been.
to
I think to a
owning Mane.
if I had the money and it was a straight up single money no object decision that you say yeah I'll take Trent
over
over
Trippier.
or Trippier.
I agree. That's the first time I've agreed with
Because Trippier, I was gonna say because Trippier, another bad performance today after a bad performance against Tottenham. He's had a rough go
that.
here.
The old man might be finally wearing out. Maybe
it's another bad day.
he just needs a winter.
He got a rest today.
He needs a little rest.
Well, he got a little bit of a rest today, and then he's responsible for the errors that cost them the game in the Carabao Cup.
Ouch.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Chelsea 2, Sheffield 0. The mighty fighting Cole Palmers
yeah.
came through for all the people who own him. Sterling gets an assist. Nico Jackson gets a goal. Chelsea
He's on their crest now. They photoshopped his face on the bear.
crest. Jackson.
No, Cole
Palmer.
Palmer, his face.
Yeah, Palmer. Palmer was the obvious captain choice, Brian.
Oh
This
yeah,
week,
everybody knew.
As
I
he
don't know why
was
you
going to be
didn't.
rolling into a 14. So, obviously, it was Palmer. Dumb on everyone else.
He's my transfer for the week. Just brought him in for He-Chan.
You finally are bringing him in?
Just heard me straight into the sheep's booth.
Wow.
That's what they call the place where they keep the sheep.
The sheep's
right?
a booth.
Yeah.
Yeah, they totally
Did you look
call
that
it the
up?
booth.
No, I'm just
No, they do not call it the booth. They call it the barn,
Pasture.
the kennel, the
This is definitely not a kennel.
It's the sheep's round.
Okay. Good for you bringing in Palmer, something you should have done a long time ago. His ownership is up to 22%.
When I transferred him out, I made money when I transferred out Huang to bring
good.
in Cole Palmer.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
So as much as I didn't say that money is not valuable. I'm saying information is more valuable, but money's still money. And guess what matters sometimes?
Money.
Those tenths.
Money.
So
All right.
no, to me it was it's an obvious move. Again, this is the kind of thing where if I find out tomorrow that Anthony Gordon has a grade 4 high ankle sprain and is going to be out for a month, I'm going to really be wishing I had made a different decision.
All right.
And not gone into the barn, or as Google tells me, the sheep pen or sheepfold.
Fold.
I have
to the
closed
fold.
the loop for you there.
A fold
fold.
is a group of sheep.
Sheepfold.
Okay.
No, that's
All right.
Not right
not
either.
correct
Okay.
either.
No one's schedule is as green pastures for the sheep as Chelsea's at the moment, as the sheep are at Wolves, home Palace, at Luton, home Fulham,
Can't be
in
mad
their
about
next 4 match weeks. So
Yeah.
Sterling owners, there's got to be a few of you out there. There's greener pastures are on their way for your sheep. Cole Palmer owners, I almost didn't get it out there.
Cool Palmer.
Palmer. yeah, you're going to be just fine.
The schedule, I think, legitimately warrants Sterling consideration. But
What has he done lately, though?
if you're picking,
Well, I've been saying that
he
all
got an
season,
assist in this
Travis.
game. So
Is that enough?
No, not for 7.1.
And I guess that's a point. He's not doing enough for his price point.
I'm just saying it's not a crazy choice just because his ceiling is as high as any midfielder as there is. You've only seen the ceiling in the two best possible matchups for them.
I do have to say this for Sterling, as I have kind of talked trash on Sterling most of the season. He is currently ranked 8th.
He's
Okay,
tied with Kulusevski for 8th.
But
That's a stat from this very podcast.
But
Cute.
Brian, there's 2 people ahead of him who are not available currently, and that's Gordon and Mbeumo. So
Well,
technically, then
Right.
Allegedly not available.
he's 6th, sort of, in available scoring players.
Sure.
With a really good schedule, and he's healthy. So I talk trash. I feel like I need to give him a little love here. He is where he is, and he's not horrible. And their schedule is green.
And I would
Green,
say,
green.
like just on like person for person performance, like Palmer and Sterling are honestly they're close. Like Palmer has scored 6 goals and Sterling has 3. And 3 of Palmer's goals are penalty goals. So that's a complete surprise. Given the way the season has played out, that it's Cole Palmer of all the people who could do that for Chelsea. That's a surprise, I think, that was now not surprising right this second. I'm saying, like, when Cole Palmer got there, I don't think anyone would have said, oh, yeah, definitely the new guy is going to be their penalty taker. The fact that he is like, it's a good revelation. But I'm just saying, like, it's 6 goals to 3. They each have 4 assists, Palmer and Sterling. Since Palmer got there, so this is since game week 4.
Okay.
When Palmer, since he has started every game since game week 4, all but 1, I think. But it's 6 goals to 3 in favor of Palmer, 4 assists each. Palmer's created more chances, which is I think that's not entirely surprising given the way they play.
Right. Agree.
And Palmer has outshot Raheem Sterling. So it's 31 shots to Sterling's 22. The only thing that Sterling's doing more is touching the ball in the box.
Touchy. I got you.
You got it.
Touchy.
Right.
Two bad touches in the box aren't worth points because Sterling has 100 touches in the box since game week 4, and Cole Palmer has 44.
But not as much as Kulusevski.
True. Kulusevski is beating all of them.
Question for both of you.
Yeah.
Would you
Answer.
rather, because this is not only is Kulusevski, Sterling, and this other player I'm about to mention, fall down Phil, they're pretty much all the same price, and they all have scored about the same on the season. So if you didn't own any of the 3, Brian, who would you rank them right now?
I mean,
Travis,
no one does. No one here
rank
does.
them. If you're like, okay, I need to move Decore out of my lineup. I need to move Son when 2 weeks from now when Son ends up possibly leaving, or for like 3 match weeks. I got fall down Phil and Kulu and floppy hands Raheem. Rank them.
Richarlison.
Wait,
he on the list?
that wasn't on the list. Kulusevski.
Fine. Richarlison. Add him in there because he's not.
Richarlison, Kulusevski, Phil,
And Sterling. I want you to rank them from who you would prefer to own over the next 4 match weeks.
I'd go. I would go.
Who's 1? Just get to 1. Who's 1?
Kulusevski.
Would you
Interesting.
really? Okay.
I'm just trying to think of
Now,
who, because
we kind of got to forget the City's not playing this next match week. I feel like that hurts a little.
I was going to make a comment about that.
My first thought was Foden, Richarlison, Kulusevski, Sterling. But then I don't know what you're getting with City. There's still rotation to be had.
But they're running out of people to rotate in.
I agree.
Foden-
And the people that they do
Foden-
rotate in, they lose.
Foden is trustworthy, and Foden is Pep's son. So I do trust him to keep mostly starting, but I don't know. I think it's they have an evolution to take here. They have a step to take.
All
So
right,
they have to
so you
incorporate.
like-
I'm just saying Spurs are what they are. Kulishevsky has
Until
a
Son
role
leaves.
that is right, and
that is defined in a starting spot in the lineup that's not moving.
right. And same with Richarlison. He has a place and he has a role and he has a manager
So,
who's put him
are
there.
you saying Kulu, Richarlison, Foden, Sterling, or Sterling, Foden?
Yeah, but and it's not. Yeah, I think with Sterling, and I just think that's the Chelsea uncertainty is what's driving that. We said it last week. Like you finally got you're getting closer and closer to Nkunku playing for Chelsea. What is that going to look like?
What's that going to look like? Fair
Right.
enough.
It's going to look like probably assists for Sterling.
I assume it's going to look better than it is.
I don't think it's going to affect Sterling's playing time.
No, I'm not.
So-
I don't think it's going to replace him. I just think it's a player that they need. Like they need to learn how to play together. Look at what the transition has taken a full season. Højlund still cannot figure out how to kick a ball, despite Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford and all those star quality players that Manchester United have. And I'm not saying that every team's got not every team is them, and there's other whatever they've got their own dysfunctions or whatever they got to sort through. I'm just saying. I think the stability of the positions and the stats back it up. That's the thing.
Okay.
So,
Stability and stats.
I am way edging more toward my optimism for Spurs and what you've seen from them and the way they're established so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Foden as a trustworthy player in which is supposed to be the best team in the league, but is obviously not acting and playing like it right now. Compared to Sterling, who's
still don't trust him when you compare to those other guys.
Yeah.
Travis, rank them. Best to worst options.
I think Richarlison is probably the first option for me. Because even when Tottenham loses Son after game week 20,
He's still playing striker.
he's still going to play straight. He's going to play more, and
In fact,
they're going to get more
He might be on
scrappy.
pens.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I legitimately don't know. I'm not saying I question that. I'm saying
Right.
I literally have no idea who would be on pens at that point. But I think he becomes the focal point of their attack, and the way that Ange plays, they're going to throw everything at the box, and stuff's going to bounce around, and he's going to be there. Their defenders are going to score, or Richarlison is going to score when Son is gone.
All right.
So I think Richarlison. And honestly, I kind of then go Sterling, Foden, Kulishevsky. I think that's the
I would
order.
go Richarlison, Foden. I hate to do that. Kulu, Sterling.
Sterling's matchups are so good, and with Nkunku coming back, I honestly think that he's going to feed him like crazy.
I honestly think it's a tough decision.
They're both going to break.
Except for I think it's a hard decision.
Yeah.
No, they're all worthy of being considered at this point. I think that's
and
fair
this
to
is
say.
again this is also I'm looking at my lineup and I can say all these players that cost Richarlison ends up being the cheapest that you name in there at 6,
and they're all midfielders.
At 6.7.
Let's make sure that we're acknowledging that they are all midfield players. There's not a forward in that lineup.
The other name I would add in there, just because he is cheaper than Foden, is Jared Bowen. But I'm saying, as I'm looking at my lineup,
would you take any one of those over Jared Bowen at this point?
Oh boy, probably not.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because
So
I own Bowen,
I'm
and
saying,
I don't know that I'm looking to move
I'm
him.
saying I have Bowen, and then I'm looking at Anthony Gordon in my lineup. I have Cole Palmer now in my lineup. So I had He Chan in my lineup before this week. So I'm saying Son and Salah, that money goes somewhere. I don't have Saka. I want to ask you about Odegaard. And I feel like this
Took
is
a lot of shots.
I'm saying I have zero Arsenal coverage. Zero. So
That's shocking a little bit.
Not one
They're
Arsenal
not that
player.
good.
I know. They can't ever crack into the top. No, I don't have a single Arsenal player. So then it's all right, if I'm getting rid of the two most expensive midfielders in the game, Why is my first replacement for one of those two? Why isn't it Saka and someone?
Agreed.
Or why isn't it?
It should be.
Right. So even after a dud week from Arsenal, I'm just saying, like, what's skewing all of this for everyone is that Cole Palmer is now 5.6.
Yeah.
He's 5.6. People super smart people bought him at 4.9. Like, he's been that low this season. Like, Anthony Gordon, I brought in late. I'm way late to the Anthony Gordon bandwagon. He's 6.1 now. Like 6.2. Sorry. He went up. But like the fact is he's still less than everyone we just said. And you have that. Like you have it is not like based on the numbers. I get the injury happened this week. We just said it last week. Abdoulaye Doucouré was a top 10 midfielder at 5.5. His price went up this week finally, and then he gets injured. Like I'm just saying, there are so many of these other options. Like I love all the choices that you have, and I think that it's gonna matter way more when you're gonna lose. Like how are you gonna replace Salah and Son? And I don't know. Maybe fixtures are the deciding factor, but maybe you do get a clue here as to like somebody is going to break out. But I don't know. I feel like you're just chasing kind of. I feel it's going to feel like chasing points. It feels like
top of the table. Arsenal 2, Brighton Hove Trash Birds 0.
Hey, that's one clean sheet down. How many do we say you need?
I'd forgotten.
How many was it out of the 5 matches
so many
or whatever?
willy-nilly bets. It was probably was it 2 or 2.5, Travis?
It's loading.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Gabriel Jesus, Brian.
Because you were ready to give them 4 clean sheets out of 5, and I think Travis was like,
He reeled me in?
no, I think Travis said you were an idiot, and then
Yeah, okay. Well, that's his way of reeling me in.
You guys got heated.
All right.
Did we? Wait.
Gabriel Jesus, 53rd minute goal. Kai Havertz with the closing goal.
Hey.
At 87, assist Eddie Nketiah. Brian, Kai Havertz is an interesting name.
Dave, talk about your team. I had so many questions
Look,
about.
they're
I
just-
had
He doesn't need an
I had
invitation.
questions about Jesus as a replacement forward. You know, as a consideration. I had the numbers and I
All
had
right.
questions for you
So-
last week, and they are now out the window because he scored a goal here.
I know. So Jesus in his last 3 match weeks, 11, 2, and 9.
Was that a goal though?
And which one? Of course it was a goal.
The headed
Silly.
goal that went in.
The headed awesome back post goal.
Yeah, the one that shouldn't have made it to the back post in the first place.
Oh, that was
and
bad clearance.
And came off
Bad
of
clearance.
a Brighton defender.
Yeah.
So
The
ball came to him on the back post and he put it in the back of the net. Things Darwin cannot do.
Because
So-
we don't put him on the back post. We put him in the mixer so he can
Okay.
beat people up.
All right, touche. All that being said, yes, Brian. So this is what's gone on with Odegaard and Jesus. They didn't rush them back at all from any type of injury. And they took their time, and I feel like they've come back and are completely clicking on all cylinders.
Dave.
And
It took them a while to click on all cylinders, though. I mean, they didn't score until the 53rd minute, and even then, they didn't score until the 87th minute.
I was
put the game
speaking
away.
in the totality of Jesus and Odegaard kind of coming back, right? Like Jesus come back a little bit before Odegaard. He was back in the Brentford and Wolves match, was doing all the things but scoring in those matches, and then
like Nunez.
Well, fair, but Jesus actually has scored a few, and Luton and then Brighton. Obviously, he's been able.
Who has
to,
more goals,
to punch some
Nunez
goals
or Jesus?
I mean, we could also
Well, that's
look
a
at
good one.
minutes too.
That's a good question.
I feel like Jesus only has like 4 or 5 goals.
Dave, while you're looking that up, can I give you my this is the Odegaard quote. This is from Kaya Kanak, who covers Arsenal for Football.London. Let me talk to you about Martin Odegaard here for
Okay,
a second.
tell me. 3 goals, by the way.
You tell me what you think here, Dave.
Okay.
This is direct quotes from him. Fantasy football managers will say that Odegaard failed to register a goal or an assist, but in this match, Odegaard was truly playing football from another realm. Is that how you would describe his Brighton and Hove Albion performance?
Yeah. He and Rice.
Here's what he's saying.
He and Rice are becoming really scary good.
So he's saying that this is an Arteta tactical brilliant switch here. Since Odegaard's come back from injury, this is fully fit Odegaard. With Havertz now alongside Jesus when Arsenal press in a 4-4-2 out of possession. Okay? Odegaard has a slightly deeper starting position, so he's dropping deeper to pick the ball off of defenders in the build-up and generally is dictating the play from further back than he did last season. Okay?
Okay.
Follow so far?
I do. It seems fair.
If teams want to stop Odegaard at the source, they have to come further out to meet him, which leaves the back door open for Havertz, Jesus, Martinelli, Saka, or whoever else is running through to wreak havoc. Alongside Declan Rice dictating play, Arsenal have found a midfield balance that makes them a match for almost any opponent. It will be fascinating to see how this works to their advantage at Anfield next week.
My back door has never felt more safe than when Havertz is knocking on it.
Hey, this is scoring Havertz
I
here,
feel
Travis.
some bets coming on.
Like, I'm not
also-
saying he's gonna score.
Also, let's go.
I'm just saying he scored every other match week for the last 6 match weeks. 6-1, 7-2, and now an 8, which means he'll blank against Liverpool, which is fine.
Allegedly.
But this is this is a very clear, like, this is clearly, this isn't just a happenstance. This is a tactical switch that is now has worked, and it's benefiting Havertz of all people.
Yeah.
So your whole team basically took 4. Every attacker basically took 4 shots in this game, but it's Havertz and Jesus are the ones who put the goals away. Like the weird, like, of course, like the one week where you're expecting whatever, you get clean sheets from everyone in the whole league except Manchester City and Aston Villa, and all the points come from Arsenal defenders finally, and then Havertz and Jesus. You get nothing from Odegaard, nothing from Saka, and again nothing from not like getting nothing from Martinelli's been a surprise. But
I'm kind of surprised Odegaard's ownership is at a 14%.
Too high.
Yeah,
I guess that.
He was out for a
because
couple
he was out for about 4 or 5 match weeks.
Yeah.
So since he's come back from injury, we'll do this again because this is now since game week 13. Only Pascal Gross has created more chances than Martin Odegaard. 18 chances created for Gross, 17 for Odegaard. And he's created 3 big chances, but only has 1 assist. So 1 assist, 3
Seems
big
like he's
chances.
shooting a lot.
3
He's
big
shooting
chances. That's what I
more.
was going to say.
Shooting a
3
lot
big
more.
chances created, an XA, so an expected assist number of 1.99, which is the 4th highest of any midfielder.
Okay.
1 assist. So to me, that's clearly underperforming on just his creativity statistics. Should have had
So it seems.
Odegaard should have had more FPL points just out of creativity, but he's also taken 12 shots and has which is 6th most. So
I mean, 90% of those are getting blocked
I was
like 4
say,
feet from him.
0 big chances to
You're right.
score, but I would say the positions that he's been in to score, he's been wasteful with good opportunities or opportunities that we've seen him put away, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, so what that gentleman was
You're making
was
him feel
referring
not
to,
good.
I think, was typically Odegaard has the ball, passing it off guys, moving into the box, and he was getting goals there. His deeper position, which I would probably say is fair, is now he's now coming onto the box after the ball has already moved on there. Ball
Arriving
gets
late.
passed back to him, arriving late, and then taking shots, and Travis perfectly said it, is getting blocked.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of arriving
if
late.
you want a guy shooting from the outside the box, the guy on Arsenal team to do that, it's Odegaard. You want him shooting the ball on the edge of the box.
I'm just saying there's opportunity here. I'm saying already you like the creativity. You like what he's, not necessarily that you don't want a deeper lying midfielder. So you don't typically want that. I'm just saying, like, also he's a penalty variable. I just think like
Right. He's a maybe.
I'm saying there's a
He's a maybe on
he
penalties.
is a maybe penalty guy. I'm just saying like, the numbers were fine for everybody attacking wise in the game. It's just, again, you got not what's the percentage on Jesus? Is he over 10?
No.
That's what I mean. Is he 5?
Ownership?
Yeah.
4.8.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
he's
what I
very
mean.
low.
It's not much, and Havertz
I'm surprised
is, and
it's that high.
And Havertz is low too. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
So Havertz price is at 7-1. So he would fit into the same thing that we just went through.
Very high.
And I would absolutely want to own all 4 of those other players we were discussing as opposed to Havertz. Although, I'm just saying, shocking to me, I'm not saying go there. I'm shocked that he continues to contribute the way he has been over the last 6 match weeks.
Speaking of contributions, I looked up the numbers for you. Jesus versus Darwin. 9 starts for Jesus, 10 starts for Darwin.
Okay.
3 goals for Jesus, 4 goals for Darwin.
Darwin has 4 goals?
He has 4 goals.
Wow.
Now the big key stat that sticks out though is
Is it minutes?
No. Darwin is definitely higher on minutes by about 200 minutes, but it's XG.
chances.
XG.
Jesus of like
Jesus is
point-
3.9.
Okay.
And he has 3 goals. Darwin's XG is 6.9, and he has
4
4
goals.
goals.
Okay.
So,
Well-
he does have 943 minutes, whereas Jesus has 744 minutes.
Let's move on quickly here. I was nice. I finally got rewarded having Saliba and Raya in my backfield as Arsenal finally gets a clean sheet here. So pumped about that. Look, I was pumped about this performance. I thought Arsenal was, for the most part, pretty dominant in this performance. This was not the best Brighton Hove Albion team that we've seen out there. De Zerbi always puts a good team out. Those guys play so hard for him.
They
And
had a golden opportunity.
They did. Yep, they
Gross
sure
on
did.
that front
Gross
post
should have
and
scored.
just,
And, of course, this is what happens in football. When you miss one, Travis, that you should have, what happens typically 2 minutes later? You give one up. And that's exactly
they pushed pretty
sorta what
hard.
happened.
They pushed pretty hard, got caught on the break. 2-0 is generous. It's a little flattering towards them.
I think
That said, Arsenal did what they needed to do to close the game out. Right? They definitely did. But Brighton was difficult to break down. When they finally did,
So-
Brighton had to open up a little bit more.
this is
They
what
had
I've been
some chances,
asking.
didn't quite get there.
This is what I've been asking Arsenal for. And this is what I think Liverpool should do a little bit more of. Give the other team the ball.
Yeah.
Look, Brighton 50,
Let 'em come
51%, Arsenal 48, right? But Arsenal shots on target, 26 shots. Brighton 1 shot on target, 6 shots total, right? So Arsenal said, we're going to give you some of the ball, and then we're going to counter you when we get our moment. No one is as good as Liverpool in the league as countering. And it's been like that for the last 6 to 7 years. Maybe longer, but I feel like at times, we've referenced this before, we don't need to stay there. Liverpool need to give the ball away so they can eventually do what they're best at, and that's
Someone
countering.
said it in commentary actually during the United match, so it's not unheard of, but it's just not the way that Klopp's ever going to play. So it won't.
I don't
happen.
know if Arteta made a tactical, thank you, change in this to say, hey, let's give them the ball, or let's not press in these situations.
Well, that
I don't
might be
know.
true.
Right? In other words, like,
They might have
hey,
been
let's not press
softer
here.
on press.
Let's be a little softer here. Almost like this is not a basketball podcast, but a half-court trap. Once they cross the half-court line, then we go to start pressing.
You should be a women's basketball coach.
I'm just saying, hey, by the way, I should have led the pod with this. We got our first win on the weekend.
Oh, my gosh.
Grinding. Hey, girls played well, and we needed that first dub. We've had the cards stacked against us all season, but the girls grinded.
Doping.
Listen, that was one of the most nervy coaching things. We have not gone over the Dean Smith 4 corners we had the ball and they needed to foul us at the end. So trying to manage and coach through that was fun. Woo! We did it though, 18-17. It was a
high
barn
scoring.
burner.
Wow.
Barn burner for middle school girls. All right.
Dave, do you know that Kai Havertz on a per 90-minute basis, he's played 1,000 minutes. He's featured in every game this season, which I would not have guessed that.
Every game?
Yeah.
He
has at least subbed on for minutes. I'm saying he's appeared in every game.
Okay. He's part of the team.
Yeah, that's good. I'm just saying he is 7th for shots in the box per 90 for all midfielders. That's real high. Almost 2 shots in the box per 90 minutes, which 1.88. He's barely behind Matoma, 1.89. Luis Diaz, 1.97. He's ahead of Saka. Saka per 90 for the season is 1.81 shots in the box. Havertz is 1.88.
Wow.
I'm a little surprised by that.
similar enough to be the same.
Yeah, they're the same players. That's what I'm getting at. No, even the total XG. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7th. Kai Havertz, 0.35 XG for the season on a per 90-minute basis. Just behind Abdoulaye Doucouré at 0.37. He Chan at 0.38. He is ahead of Saka, 0.34.
I'm not saying he's worth a fantasy shift yet, but he's starting to at least work his way into us discussing maybe possibly, further down the road.
Okay.
We'll see. Okay. All right. Anything else from my beloved Arsenal that we need to discuss,
Your
Brian?
starting,
Any other questions?
your starting defense was back to normal. It was Zinchenko, Gabriel Saliba, Ben White.
Yeah,
Tomiyasu's out.
Unknown return date.
Tomiyasu's out indefinitely. So there's the only thing you had was a late substitution, Kivior coming on for Zinchenko.
Which will probably happen a lot, but obviously it doesn't matter because
we're still, no matter what, we're saying
Zinchenko's still your 60-minute. Arsenal has a clean sheet by 60-minute guy. Then all of a sudden now I keep
Nobody did anything in this match to lose a spot. Nobody did anything. If anything, they just solidified themselves because this is a clean sheet that you got against De Zerbi. Even if it's a sad Brighton team, it's still Brighton.
For whatever reason, every team seems to have a bogey team. Brighton seems to have Arsenal's number at Arsenal. I don't know why, but it's been like that. And so it kind of felt like we got a little bit of even though, look, on paper they should have won this match, it felt like they got a little bit of a monkey off their back with this match. But for whatever reason, again, it's one of those weird things that happens in the game of football where some teams, regardless of managers and players, always seem to play well against others, just like Liverpool, Arsenal, regardless of where they play.
Are we watching that game here?
It's the highest scoring
When is it?
game.
Saturday.
I'm gone. Sorry, guys.
That's a shame.
I'd love that.
League Hicks, Aaron, will be in town.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So we can get together and watch that. That'll be a good time. We'll figure that out. It'll either be at my place or your place.
Okay.
So that'll be good.
And I'll be in the cold Midwest.
Okay. Very good. I hope you see some snow. But bottom line is, it's the highest scoring fixture in Premier League history is Arsenal-Liverpool. So I'm looking at it.
Not this year.
I'm looking. They haven't played yet.
Could be.
You have the best defense in the league. You're not. What are you going to give up a lot of goals?
It never seems to matter. Now, at the current moment, Salah's not my captain. So there's that. At the current moment, I believe I have Heung-min Son as my captain this week.
Wow.
As
that
he's
is a
home
serious
to
one.
Everton. My vice captain is Ollie Watkins, home to Sheffield. But my captain should be Solanke. I don't know. Anyways, all that being said, I have options, and I could go with Salah. I just don't know what to do. Because technically it's the highest scoring fixture, but Arsenal's not going to sit back on Liverpool.
But also, Dave,
They're not.
Arsenal has not won at Anfield since 2012.
I know. They can never win there.
Betting time. Will the winless streak end this week?
My confidence is low, man.
What?
I would
No.
I would be happy with a draw.
I think a draw happens.
You guys are babies.
Maybe. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, this feels
Anfield
like
is difficult to play at. And
Arsenal
one thing we
gets
didn't
their
say
cans kicked at Anfield
is that,
like every single
Anfield
time.
was garbage. Was absolute
This past
trash
against United,
which is insane because it's the largest crowd that they've had since like the 30s. Because
what?
wait, where's this guy going? Is he okay?
I think he's disappointed. I think he wanted. I think he wanted us to come out with fiery
It's going to
darts.
be a stalemate. I legitimately think it's going to be a stalemate. You look so pathetic.
This
right
is
now.
what I think. I do not think that it's going to be a stalemate. I think it's going to be Arsenal and Liverpool both trying to possess the ball, both pressing each other. It'll be Zinchenko. Hand to God, it'll be Zinchenko.
Probably.
He's going to turn the ball
And
over.
Joe Gomez.
And Anfield will
'Cause
get
he's
it
down to
started. And Liverpool will absolutely score the first goal. Mark my words. And I guarantee you it comes from a Zinchenko turnover.
All right.
Arsenal
Dave is
fight
betting
their way
the first
back in
goal is Zinchenko. The result of a Zinchenko error. Is that how you see it happening?
No, I think Liverpool's going to is going to play out of the back and make a mistake, and Arsenal's going to score from
Guy
that.
Havertz.
Put it on the board.
It's going to be a defensive turnover that goes
I think
to the...
I think Liverpool is going to concede first.
I think
Dave thinks
I think Arsenal will
all of
concede
our
first.
bets. Now I remember why we didn't have we shut the bet channel off. It's because they all go away after 90 days, and
We can't just continue to see them.
no, they're gone. We have to pay
Kinda
money
crap.
to Slack, and Slack is expensive, and we're cheap.
That's
So
garbage. What is
But
that?
I'm going to go ahead and put this in the
If
bet
only
channel
there was
anyways.
if only there was notes.
I was going to
on
say,
our
if only there was
phone.
another spreadsheet of some
If
kind.
only there was this thing.
I didn't
like,
write it down,
we could
okay? I
actually-
put it in
a
there.
piece of I don't know, paper. with
I'm
like
going to
maybe
start a 30-day
pencil.
trial so I can get
We
these
could
things
just
back.
write-
Do a trial, get them to come back,
We write
Cancel.
them down.
copy paste.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, we got a
There we
plan.
go.
Amazing. We can
Slack,
figure
if you're
this thing
listening,
out.
I'm sorry, but you can still sponsor us.
Jeez, Slack. Quit screwing us over here. We've been
Amazing.
giving you free pub for forever. Not that you need it. All right. All that being said, Brian, the game feels like a 2-2 game. I would love to say that Arsenal are going to come in and win this thing. I do think Arsenal's defense is playing better, but I mean, man, it's Anfield, man, and the Anfield just kicks our freaking tails. And I have zero confidence in
You
Anfield.
should just take a sheet out of the playbook of Manchester United to figure out what to do at Anfield.
That's fair.
To give up 0 goals.
That's fair.
You really think that Arteta's going to just park the bus and play to not
I
lose?
will say this.
No,
I
it
will
won't
say
happen.
this. If it comes down to a
Won't
midfield
happen.
battle, okay, which it might. In other words, Martinelli, Saka, Salah, Diaz, outside battles could be fun. Defenses across the back lines, both could give up mistakes, but both pretty good. Okay? I feel like the variable is going to be in the midfield with Declan Rice, Odegaard, Havertz against Gravenberch, McAllister.
Who's injured?
Is he injured? Travis, who's your starting
he's
midfield?
coming back. He'll be fine.
Okay.
It came out today that he's actually okay.
Is it Gravenberch, McAllister, and
No. McAllister is out until the new
definitely
year.
Out. McAllister's
He got a
definitely out.
stud.
do you
He
even
got a
have
stud
midfield?
that went through his skin. So far, he had to have stitches. But after the stitches, they found out that the stud actually ruptured muscle fibers as well, and actually cut through his muscle as well.
All right. So
He
you're-
continued to play, by the way.
Liverpool, that's unreal,
Wild.
actually. That guy's a soldier. Szoboszlai, if I said that correctly.
You did.
Endo, Curtis Jones, is that your starting midfield? Because I feel like this is the one advantage that Arsenal will have in this match. Whether or not it comes to fruition, but on paper,
Yeah,
Arsenal should have the advantage. Only I feel like
in the
everywhere
wide
else,
areas, maybe.
I feel like everywhere else we're fairly equal, but in the middle at the moment, Declan Rice, Odegaard, Havertz, greater than whoever Liverpool can throw out in the middle at the moment.
You're probably right.
I'm not saying by a large margin.
Just based off of fitness, for sure, I would say so.
Endo, I'd love to see your boy Endo get in there and do some things because I
He's
continue.
been pretty solid, actually. I've been
Do
pretty
you think he
impressed
might be
with
able to
his
start
ability.
this game?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. Now, we're talking about the game. We're not actually talking about FPL. Let's reel this back in. Anything else, Brian, on Arsenal, Brighton that need to be discussed? I don't think so. I just felt like the two top tables in the table, the two top teams in the table needed to be discussed as they were playing this weekend. Of course, obviously, massive Arsenal, massive Liverpool fans.
No, just that, like we said, I mean, I think, you're disappointed with getting nothing from Salah, from Saka, and Salah, but you're disappointed from getting nothing from Saka. Yeah, I just think there's opportunity there. And if it's true, like you said, history kind of might dictate things that go beyond just the simple like defensive prowess of Arsenal this season. And like we've said, big matches tend to produce bigger results, like more goals, for that exact reason. Neither manager will want to lose. If you have an opportunity to win,
play open.
One of the teams can win the game, you're going for it.
It's a 6-pointer.
The one thing that Arsenal has that they have never had when playing Liverpool is Declan Rice. He has been so good, and he does so many things that never show up on the score sheet.
Yeah,
and it's just unreal. Whatever we paid for him, it should have been more. And
it was over 100.
We should continue to send.
I don't know,
West Ham some checks because he's just been that good.
I do like to say that you said Pascal Gross. I mean, he should have scored, but again, just from stats a little bit ago, Pascal Gross, since game week 13, is your most creative midfielder.
I don't understand
in the Premier League. Pascal Gross is not a crazy choice. Just don't love the vibes in the league at the moment for Brighton and Hove Albion. I just wonder if, maybe fixtures turn. Maybe there's a point where it's a little bit different.
If they're going to score, he's going to do it. That's where it's coming from.
It is. It's more open. Like, now that's out of the way, you get for them, like, I look ahead. You can look ahead till March. There's not a whole lot for them that you're scared of, honestly, until they play Manchester City on March 16th. There's not one game in there where you're like, oh boy. Because even the Spurs, they play Spurs twice in there. It's not crazy. Brighton as a schedule overall is good.
Gross is the only one you're buying,
who you trust in there? I mean, because I think Matoma is now a
He's off the boil for
non-option. Sure. We said Adingra last week just for starts. He keeps starting. That continues to be true, but you're probably not doing it. Pascal Gross could get you something. I am really excited. I thought we would do something more special on Thursday for the Crystal Palace, Brighton and Hove Albion derby.
I cannot believe you'd bring that up. Of course you'd bring that up again. The stupidest derby in the Premier League.
It's the Brian and Dave sub derby.
It's really important.
What is it? The A26? What is it?
We've been over this.
The M14.
It's because one time, a long time ago, they were mean to each other, and now it's a derby.
It is a cry for help. For
Records out the window.
Two teams that need a derby so they can get fired up about. They chose each other.
They need it.
Okay, great. Here we go. I'm not excited about that Thursday matchup, Brian, although I always root for the Eagles. Palace always has a little tug on my heart.
He's a big Roy Hodgson fan.
You're getting a goal and assist brace from Elisa and Eze.
No, I'm serious. I really do always root for Crystal Palace.
Is Eze back?
Yeah.
All right. Maybe, and that was before kind of giving off AFC Richmond vibes, right? Like I don't know if AFC Richmond was tailored after Crystal Palace.
They filmed at Crystal Palace.
Oh,
that is Selhurst Park.
Yeah,
is that really?
Yeah, for real.
I'm today years old finding that out.
Shut up.
No.
We've talked about that on this very thing.
I did not know that was Selhurst.
All right.
Now I feel like a complete moron in
my
face. Let's move on and get you guys talking.
Said you're fired
about West Ham 3, Wolves 0. Look, Wolves has been pretty good. West Ham had been kind of slumping.
Lucas Paqueta has been pretty good.
Let me tell you who was really good in this match, Travis. If you want to take it away, Paqueta, 2 assists, 3 assists. What's wrong with me?
Hat trick of assists.
You don't see that often, Brian. It's been a while since we've seen a hat trick of assists. Muhammad Kudus. I looked him up when I saw this result, and I'm like, oh boy, like
We've been talking about how he's just beating around the bush and not quite
we
there.
We have been beat. You're right. You nailed that. We have been beating around the bush. Travis, tell me about this match.
He's got to be there, right? Like Kudus has got to be a consideration, as is Paqueta. I really think that Paqueta is so much of West Ham's energy. When they play well, it's because he is involved. He is laying on the pitch, just out of breath and spent because he's giving everything to that match. Now, is he petulant and silly when he does so? 100% yes. Is he on the punchable list? For sure. But he's pretty good. Pretty good, and he deserved every one of these assists. I mean, the two Kudus goals were basically mirror images of each other, right? I mean, it was just the same basic move happening. Boom, 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 boom. Broke Wolves down, and Kudus looks sharp. So I think both of them are definitely ownable. Obviously, we talked about Bowen being valuable and useful and better than all the other people that we talked about before. Kudus would be a good pickup, as could Paqueta. Their fixtures aren't amazing, but at the end of the day, they are coming into a good fixture run. They have obviously United at home, Arsenal away, and then they have Brighton, Sheffield, Bournemouth before they play United and Arsenal again on their reverse fixture. But that middle chunk there, I think, would be good. Come around game week 20. The turn of the year, so I like them at the beginning of into December, beginning of January, especially.
Kudus' last 5 match weeks: 10-9, 2-2, 16.
Yeah, in a segment we like to call Kudus' stats since his run of starts in game week 10 among midfielders. Since game week 10, when Mohamed Kudus has gotten his run of starts among midfielders, Mohamed Kudus has 52 points.
That's got to be the highest.
Second, only to Mo Salah.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Okay.
He has 4 goals. He's tied for first. So most goals.
None of us own him.
No.
Is Kudus leaving for African Cup of
I'm pretty
Nations?
sure he is.
I think
He has
is.
3
So
Ownership
that-
4.7.
He has 3
That is
3
crazy.
assists. So 4 goals, tied for first. 3 assists, which is tied for third. He's taken 16 shots, which is tied for 7th.
Okay.
5 shots on target, which is tied for 7th. He has 23 touches in the opposition box, which is 1 more than Michael Elise has, who has only played 405 minutes since game week 10.
so not that much.
Kudus has played 688 minutes.
Yeah, but his goals are rockets from pretty far out.
It's the crosses. He's put in 27 crosses, which is tied for 4th most, also with Michael Elise, of all people. The numbers...
He's
like
6.7.
Even this match, 2 goals from 3 shots, both shots on target, and just 2 touches in the opposition box.
So he shouldn't be doing it, but he is.
That's the thing. Like, if he's a danger man, that's just going to defy all the... Like, he's just going to defy all the...
It sounds like Saka stats is what you just read. A little bit.
It's happened. Guys do it. I mean, it's not unheard of.
Recent soccer.
It's just that he looks the part. I mean,
Man,
he's
he
been
does.
doing this for
Golly,
a
he
while.
He
He's
looks
so fun to watch.
threatful every time he gets the ball.
Yeah.
Paqueta is. I mean, his numbers are fine. The one that really sticks out is that on the season he's created 7 big chances, which is 4th most, I think, for midfielders.
Interesting.
It's just with Paqueta,
So like
it
a normal like 23 chances overall created, which is like fine. Like, it's not like an amazing amount.
Yeah.
It's a fine amount. But 7 big chances is as good as anybody has done. But like, even this match,
His yellow card rate is really high too.
I'm guessing he created 3 big chances in this match. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's like, if he got 3 assists.
right.
So, I'm not that that's a bad thing. It's just that
I don't know that the two Kudus goals would be considered big chances because of how far out they were.
Oh, true. They were low. Yeah, for sure. They were
Low
low. So
percentage.
he's only credited with one big
I
chance.
would love to get to him. It would take me getting rid of. I can't. My two low midfielders at the moment, Decore and Palmer. I can't get to Kudus at
You love
6'7",
that Palmer.
assuming I want to go back to Holland after this match week. So, anyways, but absolutely, he is totally, absolutely on my radar. Absolutely, I would love to own him and or Bowen. I can't get to Bowen either. I'd have to sell Saka. I'd have to make Saka Son. But if Son leaves for 3 weeks, Bowen is an
that's
easy.
what I mean. Like
That's a good one.
Easy landing spot, which then
That's a good
creates
landing
money for me to get to Kudus.
Couple
I just
other
like,
people,
wait,
yeah.
am I bringing in two West Ham guys? Wouldn't be that bad, though, would it, Brian? Anyways.
it wasn't at various points in the season because we talked about the same thing with James Ward-Prowse at one point.
Wang and Cunha.
Cunha blanks for the first time in a while,
Yeah,
but
they don't give us much here.
But the numbers were good. That's the thing.
They got a rough run coming up too.
Cunha
Not great.
actually led everybody in this match for shots, but low percentage shots,
Okay.
like nothing crazy. And Hwang, I was glad to see that Hwang took more shots than he had. He at least took 3 in the match. Like it's positive, but yeah.
Because you still own Wang, right?
No, I said that's.
Oh, you sold him. You sold
for
him
Cole Palmer, for Cool Palmer.
For Cool Palmer.
Right. Palmer's in, Hwang out, and so again, not a good move if we find out other information later about Anthony Gordon.
Information
Still
more valuable than money.
Yeah, this match is like
All
this
right.
good West Ham showed back up
This
again.
was good West Ham. It was
Yeah,
like, oh,
I mean-
okay, wow, West Ham still out there.
Hilarious that after all of the Areola can't seem to do anything right, and he's finally out, and Fabianski comes back in, and now they keep the clean sheet.
Right.
Well, and that said, I mean, this is good West Ham, so and obviously the scoreline is correct, but Wolves had the better, had more possession, more shots, more touches, more successful passes, more tackles, more of everything, right? Wolves was in the game, except for the fact that they couldn't score a goal to save their life.
That's what happened to. I mean, that's how when West Ham beat Brighton earlier in the season in an inexplicable final, like it was 3-1 or something like that.
Weird.
Same thing. Like Brighton was overwhelming at points of that match, and West Ham just kind of dealt with it, and then got 3 perfectly executed breakaways.
All right, let's be quick here as we're finishing up. Newcastle 3, Fulham 0, Villa 2, Brentford 1, and I think in the Everton 2, Burnley 0. So I want to lump in the last lump of games here, and not to gloss over anything because there's some important things here. Newcastle, I think blasting Fulham, the red hot Fulham.
Well,
coming in,
it helped that Jimenez smashed his rear end into someone's face. I can't remember who he
I think
jumped
it was
into.
Anthony Gordon. I think Jimenez tried to put the center of his crack right onto Gordon's nose and completely hip check his head out of the sidelines.
So many of us have dreamt about that moment.
Right?
I'm so glad that Jimenez got to live it.
And he went flying in there like a pole vaulter. I mean, he was caught some major air.
It
What
didn't
was
help
he
that
doing?
you didn't.
Oh my gosh!
Didn't help you lose that. Everybody again clean sheets all around. Dubravka, happy to see
Dubravka getting that 7 on my bench this week was fantastic.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
No, but all the defenders, so it stinks that you finally get Livramento. That was one of the weirder ones. So Dan Burn, welcome back, Dan Burn. First of all, so Dan Burn has an amazing game here.
Clean sheet and scores
the goal, finishes with 2 bonus points,
of course,
which is to me impossible. Goal scoring defender who gets a clean sheet and who, by the way, filled up the stat sheet. Somehow Livramento finishes with three bonus points.
Livramento got the bonus points.
Livramento got 3
Stats, man. They just padding them stats.
The only
What
thing
in the fire?
The only thing I can think is that Livramento created
pieces.
He created a few chances, and he had a better passing percentage.
Wow.
He
Yeah.
completed a higher percentage of his passes. And
Wow.
and Dan Burn didn't
Makes no
create
sense.
anything. But
Wow.
they did all the same defensive, like multiple tackles. I think he had Dan Burn had like 4 interceptions and a clearance or something like that. And Livermento had kind of similar numbers defensively. You'd think that the goal is the difference in bonus points, and it wasn't.
Defenders score all the time. It's fine.
We talk about it all the time.
All right, Joe Linton goes off,
That's why I
36
pick him.
minute. Lewis
That's a
Miley comes in. Joe Linton is the engine that, and I
think
guess
that's a
I'm
bad
probably
that's a
more-
bad injury.
More shocked about this that Newcastle seemed to not miss him. Now, granted, they were playing against 10, but Joe Linton being gone, and then all of a sudden it was Lewis Miley comes in, scores.
Go to premierinjuries.com, Ben Dinnery's great injury website, and click the Newcastle United.
It's very long.
Look
list.
at the list. I mean,
Yeah.
it is endless.
And they're still finding
It's a
ways to
list.
get it done. It is
Isak,
truly unbelievable.
Alexander Isak, surprise, not fit.
Oh,
Callum Wilson gets the start in this match. Isak had a scan last week, Eddie Howe tells us after the match. But don't worry, it's probably just fatigue.
oh,
Isak, Callum Wilson scored in the game against Chelsea today, in the Carabao Cup match today.
okay.
On one of the worst defensive things you'll ever see in
Seriously?
history from
Silly.
Chelsea.
I have
It was
not seen
awful. Go look it up.
Silliness.
But Isak,
Google it.
Isak, you lose him. Not indefinitely. Doesn't sound like
But
it's
we
a
don't
bad
know.
injury. Who knows?
Didn't even make the bench.
But this is exactly what we were saying before. Like, last week specifically said you cannot, you couldn't go anywhere near Isak. People transferring him in, and it's like, why are you doing that? Callum Wilson's back. They're going to rotate for fitness. Anthony Gordon getting hurt midweek is fine, whatever. But he got an assist in the game, which glad to get something from him.
Yeah.
I feel like the thing is Dan Burn. Like Dan Burn being back, he's 4.4.
And not Botman? Because Botman did come on as well for him.
Botman started today. Lascelles and Cher started in the match here. Cher gets injured, so Botman comes on last game. Today, because Cher's injured, it's Lascelles and Botman as you're starting. No, sorry, Dan Burn.
Yeah.
Dan Burns started as center back.
Yeah.
He is.
I'm
a
almost
giant.
sure that's where he was.
If only there was a way. It's fine.
Either way, the point is
They're down to 3
Right.
options as opposed to 4.
yeah, it's Botman back fresh off of his injury. I'm sure they do not want him you can't press that guy.
He's been out for a long
Right.
time. You don't just throw him back in.
It was Botman, Lascelles, Kraft, and Livermento
today.
and then Botman was subbed out, and
Yeah.
Byrne came in for him.
Yes. Okay. So there you go. So Burn, that is a halftime tactical substitution for that exact reason. They cannot overload guys fresh off of injury. That includes Burn. That includes Botman. You now because you have Fabian Cher out. I don't know what they're gonna do, and it makes me wonder.
Trippier subbed on
Right.
today as well.
So Trippier needed a rest
Also,
anyway.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder too with Livermento. They have Lewis Hall who can play that spot.
They bought him to cover.
Right. I mean,
For
I just
exactly this
think
reason.
they have so much happening. They have so much happening and so many injuries. To me, it seems like this is the kind of I'd be nervous to just go leaping at as much as I would want to say, hey, Dan Burn, amazing price, 4.4. It is amazing, but I don't know, man.
So
I'm a Lascelles owner. I'm
sit
not
on
going to make a
Lascelles
move.
until you're ready to
I would
move to Burn.
If you have Lascelles, Dan Burn had had 2 big chances. So Dan Burn, 2 big chances in the game. What if he scores twice?
Well, he's always dangerous on set pieces.
Yeah, he's
so.
big. Have you ever seen that guy?
6'7", 6'8". He's a monster.
I don't hate the move. I just right now they have just a lot going on.
All right. Let's
The schedule, but the schedule's good for them
let's quickly blast to this.
for 2 games.
Ryan, in the goal of the week,
Yeah.
Alex Moreno
Yeah.
Oh,
in the
This guy.
77th minute, assisted by Leon Bailey. Only you, if you could draw a goal up in the stars, Moreno assisted by Bailey. Bailey to Moreno. This is your goal of goals. In the 77th minute, Villa snatch a Brentford, at the time, what looked like a Brentford cruise win. Villa snatch it in the 77th minute, and then Ollie Watkins really takes it in the 85th minute.
Yep.
Villa wins 2-1. They continue to stay level with Liverpool, 1 point behind Arsenal, as Arsenal continues to be top of the table. So Villa, hey, it doesn't matter if we play at Brentford. It doesn't matter that we're getting beaten most of the match. We're going to come through because we got Alex Moreno and Leon Bailey to lead us through.
Well, they needed Ben Mee to go off with a red card in order to be able to do that. Let's be clear.
Ben Mee red card helps.
Championship level teams, Travis, they find ways to get it done.
Just saying.
You just got to hope the other team has a yellow card. Red card. What's wrong with me?
Alex Moreno took 4 shots, which was tied for most of any defender this week. 2 shots on target, 3 shots in the box, which was second most of any defender this week. He had 6 touches in the Brentford box, which is second only to Virgil van Dijk among defenders this week. This is exactly what the peak of Alex Moreno was. Like, this was the best of Alex Moreno at his best last half of last season. He said he blamed himself for the Brentford goal. That it was a mistake. He didn't. I think there was a clearance, but it was him, like just clearing lines. Like just
was that like in your DMs to him?
Yeah, I was like, "Hey man, are you okay?" Didn't feel like you got clean contact on that.
Ryan, this is the first time Moreno gets a start and he gets a 10.
This is exactly what I was afraid of.
You have been saying,
do you own him yet?
We mocked you because you keep saying, here comes Alex Moreno, but he's got like 16 minutes here, Travis, 1 minute there, 12 minutes here. All of a sudden he gets 90 and away at Brentford, and now he comes home with a 10.
This is exactly what I'm dead serious. This is exactly what I was afraid of. And I would say I'm not the only one. FPL Villain.
0.5% owned at the moment.
FPL Villain. An FPL account dedicated to Aston Villa news. Somebody who has followed the team and is a good source for Aston Villa related information, which is now
allegedly.
This guy's peaking right now. Okay. Tweeted today, please stop asking me about Moreno and Luka Dean. I have no idea who will start in game week 18 or for the foreseeable future.
Okay, so FPL Villain is feeling like Alex, for Alex with City, where he is answering all of the questions.
This is what he said. So that was exactly it. Last week, knew Luka Dean was going to miss this match because of yellow card suspension, and that was exactly what I was afraid of. If Moreno puts in if he puts in a normal performance, Villa say they draw or whatever, and he's not involved in anything.
Moreno sees his chance.
Then that's fine. Then
Does
they
Dean
probably
get
just
back
go
in?
back to Luka Dean. And
Is he though?
Instead, it's Moreno who's the difference. Like, he gets them back level in a game where they're trying. Like, yeah, you don't want to go down 1-0 to Brentford, but whatever. Like, you were, and he's the one who gets it back. It makes me nervous. I did not sell Luka Dean. I'm gonna start Dean because I think,
all right,
to me, the totality of it, this season, the performances up to this point, Dean got you here. So I'm gonna just hope. I'm nervous about it. I feel like it could very easily that could have been enough for Emery to say he was my guy last season. We're gonna get my guy back in there. We want to get this momentum, but it's not. It certainly is not because Dean has played bad. And if anything, like, I think who did they lose? They got a red card too. It was Kamara.
Bilkar Kamara.
So that's a guy that it seems more like it's not FPL relevant, but that seems like that's Aston Villa relevant. So that was just kind of seeing the reactions to that from Villa fans was kind of like, hey, this might affect the way they line up. This could affect Matty Cash, kind of depending on how, kind of like it'll have ramifications on who starts and kind of what they do going forward. What I wish they could find a way to play Dean and Moreno at the same time, but Moreno could play left wing, so he could play further forward. I just don't think they're ever going to do that, just because they have it's Diaby, it's Leon Bailey, it's Ollie Watkins up front, and or some variation of those kind of players. They're not going to do it that way. But anyhow.
All right, when I saw the goal, I can't believe it this is the absolute ultimate Brian Chesko.
It's
goal.
it's what I was hoping would have happened when he was fit weeks ago. But
Yes,
that's the
I
other
know.
part of it is now that he is fit again, and he's obviously fit enough to play a majority of a match. And yeah, like amazing. He steps in and he does awesome.
All right, it as the last match, and we don't need to mention it, was Everton. Burnley, and there was no fantasy relevance in it.
There's
at
a ton
all.
of fun. This is how many clean sheets in a row for Everton? 4?
Who?
Jordan Pickford, the guy who no one wanted for however
this
many
is
weeks.
This
His arms
is
are too short.
painful.
I'll never own him.
This is painful, but I hate that you're right.
James
Fine.
Tarkowski went up
I
in
know.
price today.
Mikolenko's the guy I want to own, and he didn't play in this one.
We talked about that.
It's 4 clean sheets in a row, Brian. Is that what you wanted to hear?
We talked about Mikolenko. Did I have a fever dream that we mentioned that
we
earlier?
did. I know. I
No,
just
I
wanted
just-
to.
I know,
I was
I
still
know. I know.
burned by
I
that.
know.
Like I literally almost brought him in, and I still think he's the own, even though he's still injured. But you're right. Tarkowski is a 10th cheaper at the moment and actually playing, and that's Everton's 4th clean sheet in a row. They're at Spurs.
Has Pickford gone?
home city.
Is Pickford gone up to 4.5?
I don't think so.
He was 4.4.
He's still 4.4.
See, this is
So-
why no one's making goalkeeper transfers.
But
Why would you?
this is why their upcoming fixtures. They play three of the top 6 in the league. They're at Spurs, home City, then they're at Wolves, but then they're home Villa. So their next 3 out of 4 matches are 3 of the top 6 in the table,
Yeah.
and then
Not great.
they have a quick turnaround and play Spurs again a couple weeks later. I'm just saying. I think that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
don't
this
like
feels-
it. Yeah, you don't like it defensively. And I think we said that with Mikolenko even
It's
last
just-
week. It was just like
If you bring him in, understand what's coming.
right. It's a price you don't feel bad benching. Is that's
true.
The good thing about
That's
it.
totally true.
That's the only good thing about it. But even then, like it kind of depends on what else you're trying to do.
All right.
Which is nothing.
All right.
Right.
That being said, moving on to next week, let's quickly discuss captains, and let's shut this thing down as we have an early kickoff this week, and Travis is already looking at himself like, how the heck are we going to do this? Captains this next week. Boy, I tell you what, as a Watkins owner, home Sheffield sure
Yeah.
seems tasty.
That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going for sure.
Currently, I have it on Sun, and I also have Salah, home Arsenal.
Yeah.
And I have Saka. I don't feel great captaining either one of those.
Yeah.
If I was to, Salah would be the nod. But I think, man, and what's Forest going to do with a new manager bump when they're at Bournemouth? Or no, Bournemouth are at Forest. What's going to happen there? Dom's been my little magical chip here, as he gets me points when other. And
That's not a bad pick.
well, I just don't know why. It'd be a tough captain's choice. Watkins home Sheffield sure seems like
Yeah.
maybe the spot.
The
That's where I'm
captain
going.
Dubravka.
I like a
at
home.
Luton.
I like a home captain.
Dubravka.
I mean, this is a great. This is a great.
You're right,
week.
Brian.
This is a great week for going off script.
It is. It is.
I think Watkins is going to be a real popular one because
Yes.
Watkins is so heavily owned, and it just is such a glaring. It's a home matchup against a really bad defense.
Brian,
Yep.
would you rather start Anderson home to Brighton in the stupidest derby of all, or Saliba at Anfield?
Ooh, that's a good question. Anderson. It's Anderson.
I already have Dubravka in for Raya. Obviously, they're at Luton.
I mean,
even though
I
Newcastle's going up against the mighty Adebayo.
I trust your defense more. I don't want to say
It's gonna be an open game though.
I guess will it?
Yeah, it'll be an open game.
I thought you guys were gonna smash what's their faces so
Well, it wasn't
badly.
an open game.
Well, still.
This will be an open game where United
Yeah.
game was not. Anyways, all right, Brian,
Completely fine.
captaincy. Brian, captaincy.
I'm just saying,
Who are you
right now the C is on Ollie Watkins, but I do like Son.
I
I
agree.
really do like Son as an
Okay.
option. Not since January 13th, 2022, in a League Cup match, has there been less than 2 goals scored in Liverpool Arsenal.
Jeez.
I know.
Every game since so the last 1, 2, 3, 4, the last 4 Liverpool Arsenal fixtures have ended 2-2, 3-2, 2-0, and 2-0.
For rooting interest for me, I think I'm going to stay off this game for captaincy.
Prior to the 0-0 League Cup, even in 2021, it was Liverpool 4-0, and then Liverpool 3-0, and that was 2021. So
Yeah, I know.
the tendency has been for there to be multiple goals. I just don't think you guys are. To me, it seems like you're better than that.
I don't think we're shipping. We haven't been shipping out many goals.
That's what I mean. I just don't think. I'm not saying you're going to keep a clean sheet here. You did. Your bet was that you were going to clean
did.
sheet everybody the rest of the way. But I'm
I don't
saying
think it was that strong, but maybe.
I'm just
You
saying.
said a lot of crazy things on here.
I'm just saying, like, this is your time. This is supposed to be your time.
All right, I'm hedging here as I've benched Raya, but I am starting Saliba at the moment, so I'm
right.
there's that.
You at least got an Anfield draw the last time you played at Anfield. So it was 2-2 at Anfield last time.
That's where I'm hoping it ends
That's
up.
a
is
step up
a
from
draw.
what it has been. The fact that you didn't lose there is positive steps. You got baby step 1. You just got to take baby step 2. Arsenal wins this time.
It might be. They continue to make. They're starting to become a little stronger mentally. So we'll see what happens.
Wanna bet? All right.
Yes.
The answer to the question is yeah.
All right.
I love the player. I love Son and what he offers. I think Son's ceiling is $1 million, and
But you're going
Ollie
Watkins.
Watkins' ceiling is a goal.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like his ceiling is low, but yeah, I think
I just like a home captain.
Ollie
and
Watkins-
Son and Watkins are both home.
Watkins is so safe, and yeah, I think I don't know.
One of those two.
I want it to be Son.
Villa has been filthy at home. Anyways, Travis.
Same Watkins.
Same.
Yeah,
Okay.
Watkins.
All right. I am in the Son Watkins camp. Currently, it's on Son. So there is that. All right, gentlemen.
Would you dare captain Cole Palmer at Wolves?
No.
Ride the hot hand. Probably the hottest hand coming off of a week.
I don't own him, so I can't.
West Ham gets Manchester United at home. There's no way Manchester United's going to be so tight the way they were. They're not going to respect West Ham. Ten Hag's not going to respect that team. Jared Bowen and Kudus are going to run roughshod over that back line.
I hope so. I hope they hammer United.
Let's see.
I like that.
United's best thing they got
Pun
for them
intended.
is Scott ThickTominay. All right, gentlemen, awesome work in the pod. I know we covered plenty, and it's good to be back and just keep grinding on the pod. Hey, holidays coming up here. We typically record on Mondays. Obviously, Monday's Christmas. We will see what happens as the games will be coming fast and furious. I am not going to guarantee a pod next week, as Travis, you're going to be out of town as well, and so we'll see what happens. So I just want to throw that out there. We'll try to keep it up on the socials or such, but there could be a chance that we might not have a pod next week. So I just want to throw that out.
The fact that it was Christmas is Monday and then there are matches on Tuesday.
Right.
Does
It's called
not
Boxing Day.
It's facts. It always happens technically on the day after Christmas, which is Boxing Day. Technically.
I don't care. No, I know it's
Touche.
Boxing Day.
I
I'm
know,
just
I know.
saying, like the fact that we'll either be out of town. Like I will likely be driving.
You could be out of town as well.
think we'll be driving on Boxing Day
Okay. All right.
to Pennsylvania.
Okay. We will oddly enough be in town, so that's new for us.
So boring.
Lucky
New for us
you.
around the holidays.
I
All right.
wish
It'll be
I
a
wish
solo show.
I wish I could join you.
All right, gentlemen, it's a pleasure. For the FPL America podcast, this is David Smith. Until next time.